Hey air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, your September tarot readings ready. I'm Eleanor. Welcome to Pink Pearl Tarot. Your theme for September is you are stronger than you know. So this is reminding me of a recent lesson we just had in Taekwondo, that the obstacle is the path. The avoidance of what is hard, of what is uncomfortable, just creates alternate forms of hard and difficult. The problem, it's still going to be there, and you're still going to have to divert energy towards avoiding it. And it's draining you every single day, whether or not you're consciously aware of it. You might just only know that you're tired and not be able to pinpoint the reason why. So this is the month to use tools to roll the stone out of your path, so to speak. So it's going to look different for everyone, but it's a call to metaphorically suit up and go toe to toe with your personal obstacle without backing down or trying to sneak by it unseen. So I have pulled an affirmation for a badass for each one of you. Gemini, you are fucking amazing. Rock that shit. So for you, it's all about your confidence. The key to finding your strength is belief in your own self-worth. It's about not compromising your boundaries to get Scooby snacks from others because you're already full up. It's time to hold your head up high, steady your gaze, and walk the runway to the battlefield, I guess. All right, so Libra, you have start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. So the strength they're talking about for you isn't some hidden well that you have to dig deep to find. The level of it that you are consciously aware of right in this moment is enough. The rest will snowball onto it once you set things in motion. Okay, I haven't played a video game in forever, but as I recall, you would gather the points that you needed to defeat larger and larger enemies as you go. You don't start out over-equipped for a level 1 obstacle, if that makes any sense. You're good as you are. All right, and then for Aquarius, you will get there. You're gonna do great today. So I feel like for you, this is about not looking at how much strength in total you will need to get through your obstacle, just how much strength you will need to get through today. Or another angle about this would be is how can I break up the challenge into parcels that match my level of strength in this moment or this day, and then rest. It doesn't come off as a marathon for you. It feels like it comes in waves. So see how you can work with that maybe. So for something to let go of, something to surrender, you have the King of Cacti. This is the King of Swords. So for some of you, this represents another person. It's a court card. So it's someone who has had a heavy influence over your mind, maybe recently, maybe over the long term, but it's time to reclaim your mental space from this person and let them try to impress someone else with their intellect. You'll know if this is your situation because you'll immediately be thinking of a know-it-all, someone who always has the facts of the situation right, but never necessarily quite the right interpretation, never quite in harmony with your instinct. Now, if this is an aspect of yourself, it can be that part of you that tries to process your feelings cognitively, rationally, logically. It's the voice in your head that must make everything make sense on paper before you can trust your intuition. It could be for some of you dethroning logic and intellect as the only decision makers at your table. Now for others, it could be just straight up overthinking and torturing the facts to try to get them to match what you feel about the situation. Kings in the tarot hold authority in your life. So as something to let go, whether it's a person or a facet of your psyche, it is downgrading that authority over you in some way. So for where you will see the most change, you have the Six of Cacti, Six of Swords. So this tells me that facing this challenge is followed by a time of peace. This is a hush. It's a lull that follows a skirmish or conflict. It's the peace that you haven't been able to find by avoidance. You know how if you listen closely to an appliance, right, with a burnt out motor, sometimes anyway, you can hear the low hum of power going to it, but not the actual sound of the machine functioning, right? So when you flip off the switch, that hum stops, of course. So it's like whatever you've been doing until now to avoid the obstacle has muffled the sound, muffled the alarm. Sometimes better than others, but This is the silence, the absolute silence of a calm mind. The silent canvas that you can hear birds chirping over in the morning. This is what you stand to achieve by tapping into your strength in doing the hard thing. So for what will be your biggest obstacle, you have temperance. So finding the perfect balance and avoiding excess. This strength they're referring to isn't the strength of moving mountains or rolling boulders off of paths. It's the strength of a tightrope walker or a dancer or a martial artist. You don't, let me put it this way, you don't need the strength of breaking a concrete block to break a board. You don't have to be Hercules. You need to be measured, to be agile, to be flexible. The idea is not to overcorrect or overpower. There's a warning here against throwing the baby out with the bathwater or burning down a house to kill a spider. You know what I mean? I hope that all makes sense. So for the best thing about the month, you have the Knight of Cacti, the Knight of Swords. There's a lot of mental energy. Gemini, or actually air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It makes sense. Makes sense. You're all here. Okay, so you could see a great improvement in communication. Lots of socializing. If it represents another person, it's going to be someone that you can rapidly exchange ideas with. Someone who texts back in a timely manner. Someone open-minded, funny, maybe curious about you. If it represents an aspect of yourself, it's talking about your own mental agility being on point. Your communication skills being clear as a bell. Your assertiveness being highly effective and surgical. Ideas and the right words coming to you at just the right time. Memory improvements. Knights can represent change, so it's likely to represent change in the way you think, change in the availability of information, or an elevation in your mental fortitude. Because this seems like exactly what you'll need to face an obstacle that requires more finesse than muscle, like the Temperance card is indicating. So for your influence and impact on others, you have the Star. So you are the light in the dark right now for somebody or somebody's. Now, honestly, as beautiful as this is, it's a little bit of a weight to carry to have people pinning their hopes on you. So be very mindful of that and how you're showing up for others. You could definitely be on a pedestal for some of you. A few of you might encounter people who are experiencing their own challenging or dark times, and you might be their motivation, their solace. And this might be for someone specific, but you might be someone's only hope, like Obi-Wan. So I just have to say that if this is hope that you have given someone, be very careful that you do actually show up. If it's something that they've manufactured in their own minds or chosen for themselves, that's kind of on them. But just be aware of the promises that you're making right now, because there is an incredible amount of stock being put into them. So for what opportunities you should be looking for, the Three of Succulents, the Three of Cups. So it's opportunities to make memories with others. And this is especially a card of friendships and gatherings. So this can look like saying yes to party invites, saying yes to lunch dates, saying yes to little group getaways with pals, or however that shows up for you. Look for opportunities to be in the world and be seen authentically. Because it could also refer to opportunities to cut loose and dance and let your hair down and just find a little joy and laughter in the safety and comfort of those you consider your people. I mean, in a perfect world, we would all have an absolute sense of self that is completely independent of the gaze of others. But here in the real world, a lot of our identity is formed by the selves that we see reflected back in others. And the gazes that we are surrounded by are in large part a choice. So it's opportunities to be in the presence and the gaze of those who reflect back to us the best and the truest versions of ourselves. Or to put it more simply, those that see you. So for what strength or superpower to leverage, you have the Four of Cacti, the Four of Swords. More swords. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 swords cards. Out of 4, out of 8, or half of them so far. This is your ability to make the most of your downtime, like power naps, social media free mornings, that sort of thing. With an overall theme that's calling you forth to take up your strength and face a challenge, you'll definitely be served by your ability to recover quickly, to breathe deeply, cycling toxins out quickly and making room for nourishment to still your mind, even if for a moment, wherever you are, to help steady yourself. Now with the Knight of Swords and the Three of Cups, there's a lot of peopling going on. So your self-awareness around your social battery, where you're at, and having strategies in place to recharge it so that you can get, back out on the floor, they're going to be almost like a superpower. It doesn't sound all that sexy as superpowers goes, but seriously, some people just don't know. They aren't aware that they're burning out. They don't see the signs, and then they start making poor choices. From what I hear, the first sign, like the canary in the coal mine for burnout, is loss of empathy. So pay attention if that's something that you're experiencing, and plug yourself into your energy source, your ancestors, your spiritual practice, your pet in a blanket, whatever it is that recharges you. So finally, for your self-care directive, you have the Four of Succulents, the Four of Cups. I love this card in particular. It's got these little, it's a sale. They're all on sale. Plant sale. Okay, so like I was saying earlier about the high leveling of people right now and the abundance of opportunities that you might have to socialize and everything clamoring for your attention, especially since you are shining like the star right now, the best way to take care of yourself around it is to be selective. It says, okay, what opportunities to look for, not necessarily that you have to jump at every single one. And this can also, it can talk about like, it reminds me when I'm on a mission, like I'm shopping for something in particular and nowhere I go, I can't find it, not the perfect thing, but I'll buy something, like the next best thing, just to not feel like I failed, because something is better than nothing to meet that need. But that's not always the best thing. Sometimes a little patience around that, it can bring a better reward in the end. Now see, that's how temperance can look as an obstacle, because while this is calling you to be selective, it's going to be important not to have so fine of a filter that something really good can't get through. It can't get your attention. So that's what I have for you, air signs. Much love, and I'll talk to you next month. Thank you.